Okay, back by popular demand is my good friend David Goodwill. After retiring from UPS, he is now the executive director of City Fields. So we're going to get an update on that and what's been going on with him.
You know, I was in that coffee shop over on Wildwood.
Yeah, T's place. Do you know her?
Not very well.
She's real nice.
Yeah.
She's real smart too.
Yeah, those folks. That's a nice little place.
It's really nice.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, it's a hidden secret, isn't it?
I think so. I've only been in there a few times, and I met the owner just the other day.
I've never met him. What's he like?
Yeah, his name's Andre Richardson. I met him at a Rotary fundraiser. He was there, and he told me, he said, I'm just having fun with that coffee shop. I opened it up and put out really good coffee and good products. He said, I'm just really enjoying having it over there. So,
about how old is he?
You know, I'm not very good at this. He looks like he's about my age, which is about your age.
Yeah, but isn't he from Chattanooga or something?
I don't know where Andre's from.
I think he's from Chattanooga, but I like going in there. It's real quiet.
It is. Yeah, folks leave you alone a little bit.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So was you meeting with your people from City Fields?
Well, I was meeting with an architecture firm that's going to kind of help me design what we want to be building over there, and kind of do site checkups and make sure that we're following plans and things like that. So,
is this a bigger undertaking than you thought?
Absolutely, yeah, it is. It is.
Do you have a new respect for the construction industry, people in it?
I do. I don't come from first of all, I don't come from either a construction background or a nonprofit background. I came from operations, you know. I came from UPS and telling UPS drivers where to go and how to deliver packages.
And somebody telling you how to tell them, I guess, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
On the Courthouse Square at 30 2nd Street is the law firm of Logan Thompson Law. Since 1965, they have served the legal needs for the good citizens of Cleveland-Bradley County. If you've got a problem, they're no problem. Give them a call.
Is it overwhelming at times?
Yes, it is. Yeah, to be honest with you, I think I underestimated that job. I began volunteering with them about a year and a half ago, doing some what we call workforce training, which is teaching classes and helping coordinate classes, teaching folks trades and how to get back in the workforce, what we call employability and just things like that, trying to get help folks get jobs. And I enjoyed that part of it a lot. And when our executive director decided to go a different direction, I thought, well, I think I could probably do that. It turns, you know, it's a very, you know.
Is it harder than what you're doing with UPS?
You know, in a way it is, but I was so accustomed to everything at UPS, nothing surprised me. I had been there for 34 years, and there wasn't a whole lot that came down the pike that I wasn't prepared for. We had hard days and hard seasons and things like that, but I knew the answer to every question there. Here, I'm asking a lot more questions and learning how to depend on other people, learning how to run an organization.
You ever think sometimes somebody that's not familiar with it can actually come up with better ideas than people that are in it because they're looking at it from a different perspective?
You know, it could be. I don't know if that's the case with me, but I've been around some people that are extremely creative in what they do, and when they bring a good idea, I sit there and I thought, well, we've never done it that way. Well, now wait a minute, that sounds like a pretty good idea. And I appreciate people like that a lot. I try to have as many of those folks around me as I can.
And sometimes it doesn't work, but at least now you know it doesn't work. That's worth something.
That's right. It's like being handed the keys to a pretty good running car. You don't think about, well, what can I do to make this run better? You just think, well, I better keep it running good, because the only thing that's different now is it's a different driver. And if I don't keep it running good, then everything will point to me. And when you know, that's kind of the way I looked at it at first, but that's no way to go about life. I'm my own person and I'm different and I run it different,
Yeah, people have different methods that works for them. Like some people can go on a diet that works for them. I might go on it; it doesn't do a thing for me.
That's true.
So everybody's got a different body makeup.
Mm-hmm.
But what was that guy's name? I can't think of his name that was running.
Yeah, that was my friend Dustin Tom.
Yeah, Dustin. I've had him here.
Yeah.
Well, he's sharp, isn't he?
Just a remarkable person.
Where did he go? With the city or something?
He did. He left us and went to work with the city of Cleveland and the Office of Development, and really doing more of what he did at City Fields, just on a city-wide level. And he's constantly looking for ways to redevelop our city and to improve our city, not just on the southeast part of town, but all over. And just a talented, bright young man. I think the world of him.
Do you have to call him and say, "Hey, what do you do in a case like this?"
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we have an open line of communication, but I try to have a boundary there to where try to be cognizant of the fact that he's got a young family and a new job, and he desires to be good at his job, and he really doesn't need me bothering him too much about things that are in the past. So he helps me a little bit, and he's just extremely passionate about what we do at City Fields, because he was much to credit for starting the whole thing. So,
after you've been in it a while and he's been out of it a while, there comes a point where he can't help you no more because it's different.
That's right.
Things change.
Yeah.
So they said, "Well, I didn't have that when I was there, so I don't know."
Yeah. Dustin and I had a series of meetings where we would kind of hand off things. He would let me know, here's something you need to be looking at, and here's another thing you need to be looking at. And he would ask me, Dee, he'd say, well, what questions do you have for me? And sometimes I'd have one or two, and I'd ask him. And finally, when we got to about the third meeting, he goes, "What else can I tell you?" And I said, "Man, I don't know. I guess I just need to get in it and trust my instincts and surround myself with good people and go forward."
For people that don't know, what exactly is City Fields? That's been a little bit of a mystery to me, maybe to other people. What exactly is it?
City Fields is a community development corporation that began as a project as a branch of United Way. It began as an initiative from United Way to come over and redevelop the southeast Cleveland neighborhood of Blythe Oldfield, and to go over and do surveys, neighborhood surveys, find out what the economic needs are, what the housing needs were, and just begin to redevelop that neighborhood, because Blythe Oldfield is one of Cleveland's oldest neighborhoods, and essentially a little mill town, because it was based around Magic Chef. It was based around Hardwick Woolen Mills, and when those industries were flourishing back near the beginning of the century, in the mid-1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, when those businesses were flourishing, that neighborhood was flourishing. And as those jobs began to go away, as those businesses moved out, that neighborhood, it just fell into economic decline. And the families that lived there got older, and some of them, the owners passed away, passed it on to their kids, and some of those kids did not want to make their home in southeast Cleveland. So the houses went into disarray. Some of them became vacant. And as the economy changed, it just went into decline. And
maybe lack of subdivision restrictions like we have today too might have played a part in that.
Perhaps. Perhaps. As time went on, though, there was a need for redevelopment there, and it was looked at and decided, City Fields began to acquire properties and build affordable housing over there. Also began to do some job training with an organization called The Refuge the refuge was the original workforce training arm of City Fields. It was started by a doctor by the name of Dr. Terry Johns and his family, and they simply recruited job force candidates and taught welding classes. And they were in the same building as City Fields. City Fields was over here building houses. The refuge was over here training job candidates. And there was also a group doing community development there, and all within the old Blythe Avenue School, which is now the Blythe Avenue Head Start. And right around 2017, 2018, I hope I have my time right, Dr. Johns and the refuge were just about ready to kind of, he was ready to retire, and went across the hall and talked to Dustin and said, hey, why don't you all acquire the refuge and it can become something bigger than what it is. So we did, and that became City Fields with 3 major focuses, which number 1 was affordable housing, number 2 was community development, and number 3 was workforce training. And so those are the 3 primary areas of focus within our fields. So that's what we started to do. We started buying houses one by one, or properties one by one, right across from the Blythe Avenue Head Start. And either refurbishing or building a new house and offering those houses to first-time home buyers that wouldn't typically be able to qualify for a traditional mortgage. We have financial partners that help us identify those candidates.
How's the financial partners work? Are they regular mortgages, 30-year mortgages?
They're regular mortgages.
So it's like a what they call that, a subprime.
Right. Well, if that couple or family qualifies and goes through our home buyer class, which is traditionally for first-time home buyers, we also give a priority to any kind of public servant, whether it be a police officer, firefighter, school teacher, government worker, someone like that. They come in, and if they qualify for our house, which would be medium, their medium annual income can only be a certain amount. If they make too much money, then they don't qualify for our loan. So if they want to come in and they have a husband and wife with 1 child or 2 children, then if their medium annual income qualifies, then we have financial lenders that come in and help them buy that home. They qualify for down payment assistance through us.
So there's a lot of programs out there.
Yeah, there are.
And you don't have the programs, you just help facilitate the programs, I guess.
We're in the connection business. We just put those folks together. So we ask that couple, or we require that couple to remain in our neighborhood for 7 years. So we don't have folks come in and just buy a City Fields house at a good deal and turn around and flip it. So,
because after 7 years, it would be, I guess you'd be somewhat vested. A person would be vested in the house at that point.
Well, Dee, we're proud of the neighborhood and what it looks like now with the new Blythe Oldfield Park. I still call it new. City of Cleveland did it back in 2012, but it's a beautiful
Well, it seems
park.
like just a couple of weeks ago to me.
It does, doesn't it?
I have 2 houses on Chippewa, 2 on King Edward, 2 on Hiawassee, Hardwick, and 4 on Church.
Right.
Is Church Street in that?
Church Street is separated by the railroad track, so it's not really a part of Blythe Oldfield, but that railroad track is more than just a physical dividing line.
Yeah.
It's a dividing line for a lot.
I noticed one thing over there. Those roads are really nice and wide. Have you noticed how wide the roads are over there?
Not bad at all, is it?
They're like 24 feet versus 20 and 22. So, so at one time it was a nice neighborhood. It's got the infrastructure.
It was, and the first house that City Fields acquired and remodeled and sold was on Hardwick Street. And we're really proud of the way our houses look, and the families that buy them keep them up really nice. We're just proud anybody, time somebody comes over and wants to look around and ask questions about what we do, I jump at the chance to put them in my truck and go take a neighborhood tour.
But building is a whole nother industry. That arm of it would be a massive undertaking.
It is, Dee. The things that builders do every day that they're very fluid with, a little bit new to me when it comes time to, I mean, we have properties, we own the property. When it comes time for us to build a house on it, there's things that have to take place. Sometimes we have to, we have to file with the city to get different setbacks or abutments or easements or close an alley or do all of that and get permits issued, get surveys done. Surveying's not easy in that neighborhood at all.
No, because some of the lines are skewed, I think.
They are. There's a lot of stuff in that ground that looks like a pin, and they'll go out and those property lines those were done in the 20s and 30s. And
some of them shared driveways, stuff
oh,
like
absolutely. Yeah, whenever I need surveying done, it takes me several calls to get it done.
Oh, at
Once
least.
I give them the address, they're like, oh my goodness.
Maybe 4 weeks or 5.
It takes a while.
And you hate to call, so you just drive by and see if you see anything in the ground yet, and you don't, so you call back. I'll give them till Thursday and then call them back.
Yeah, well, we've worked with some good folks so far, and fortunately, the city of Cleveland, they are all behind affordable housing. They know what we do. We have a good track record of it, so we work pretty well with them. And,
What's your biggest challenge?
I think my biggest challenge is at City Fields, I think, is trying to make sure that our activities that we do, Dee, align with our mission. And when our mission is to cultivate overlooked neighborhoods and overlooked populations, and we do that through affordable housing is just one thing we do. We also develop the community, develop the neighborhood, have neighborhood events, draw people in that way. And then our workforce training programs, one I'm particularly proud of, because that's what I started at City Fields in. But when you have a good track record of doing things, and when you're busy people want you to do a whole lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hey, can City Fields come and do this, or can they help me publicize this event, or send some volunteers over here? A lot of times my answer is, yes, let's do it. Of course we want to do that. And I have to really be responsible and stop and go, well, let me tell you what we do, and here's what we're about. And as long as it fits our mission, yes, we will become involved in it. But
You only got so much time, though.
that's true. That's true. The housing part takes up a lot of my time just because I don't have a housing manager. It's almost like having a small little real estate division. And then our workforce training program, Dee, when I started, we simply did welding, and we did welding classes, and we had just started doing HVAC classes. Now we do welding classes, HVAC classes. We've done a construction class, forklift class, and our newest track has to do with residential wiring and residential plumbing.
Well, that's a big undertaking.
It is. We partner with Cleveland State on those and use their welding facility over there to do our welding classes. We also work with the Pie Center. That's where our HVAC and refrigeration equipment is in our construction class. And we also partner with the Bradley County Jail and do classes. We teach culinary classes right inside their facility to inmates that are almost about to get out.
Well, how many people do you have working there?
Well, we have a staff of 12, and that's not a lot of folks. A couple of those work for United Way. They're part-time AmeriCorps Vistas that are assigned to our site. But when you have people that are passionate about what they do, we get a lot done. We do. And we manage to have some fun also.
Boy, that sounds like a lot to be thinking about. So y'all have how many houses under construction now? Maybe 5 or 4?
Right now we have one under renovation over on Chippewa Avenue, and it will be finished probably around late May. And then I have 3 that I'm waiting to break ground on within the next 2 weeks. 3 more right after that. We hope to build 6 to 8 this year. and I got to sell them too once I buy,
Yeah.
once I get them built. So we're considering looking at some different programs on that, maybe doing a pre-sale to make sure that we have buyers a lot more attractive to the bank that way when we know we can sell them.
You ever have anybody that just can't get qualified?
Yeah, we have it all the time.
They have too bad a credit.
We do, and Dee, what I would love to have is I am, I stay in very close contact with Habitat for Humanity, and they're because a lot of our housing model is based on sort of the model that they have. And Tammy and I talk all the time about the challenges that she and I both face in construction, which rising material costs, rising labor costs. We are building in the same market as everyone else is. I would like to be able to offer a cheaper product.
Well, it's almost impossible, isn't it?
It is.
It's just, you can get down so far. I've noticed that you can build a 1,200 square foot house about as cheap as 1,600 square foot house about as cheap as you can build 1,200 square feet. There's a point that it really doesn't cost you much more.
Right.
But that much more is something. If it's just 5,000 more or 10.
It is.
That's a big difference on monthly payment or down payment or.
It is. What I would, we have all different kind of folks though that want to buy homes from us. We have some properties that are tendered to City Fields under a certain grant program, and that grant program specifies that they can only make X amount of money to qualify for that loan. So I've had families come to me pre-qualified with a pre-qualification letter from a bank, but if they make more money than that grant program allows, I cannot buy or sell that property to them because it would violate the terms of the grant. So I put it this way: when I have a house for sale, Dee, it's like going fishing. I catch a lot of fish, but I have to put some good ones back in the lake just to get that one. It's going to be the right one to qualify. So then sometimes that's frustrating.
Oh, I bet.
Sometimes it's frustrating, but we have different options available financially where we can give some help in terms of down payment and some ways to get folks through that gap to where they can qualify. And the day that they close on that house and move into our neighborhood, we just have a party for them because it's a very mission affirming moment when we get a family behind a locked door and a dry roof in Blythe Oldfield. I mean, it's something we're very proud of.
Boy, it seems overwhelming to me.
Yeah.
Do you ever have any of those lots that have like clouds on the title? And
Yeah.
that's an issue.
Yeah, there's
on
some
of the
messy
older
stuff
lots.
over there.
You have
There
to-
is, and
You have to quiet the title. Have you ever had to do that?
we've done quiet title before. We've done, we have attorneys that help us in court over certain properties that are caught up in errors, or
Yeah.
if the, if the back taxes owed on that property are more than the value of that property, we have ways to try to get in line to own that property. It's just, that's a lot of lawyer stuff that I don't understand, but that's how we are able to get some properties, which is good.
Are you going to stay right down there in that area, the old field, or can you go other places, or are you just pretty well stuck right there?
Dee, we've been in that building for ever since we've been City Fields, and we're just now adding staff to the point where we're having to grow a little bit. I'm not opposed to going somewhere else, another location, another building. If you drive around with me in the truck, I'm all the time going, hey, I wonder what that is, or I wonder who owns that building, because I'm looking for things like that. But the Blythe Avenue Head Start, that building has been there since 1939, I think. That is just the hub of that neighborhood, and there's so much that happens within that building that it feels very right for us to be centered there. And I'm glad that we're there. It's an old place. I mean,
But is your mission just for right there? Do you have to stay right there?
Not necessarily. We have grown to the point where we are acquiring some properties and doing some work now in the College Hill area, up near College Hill Recreation Center.
Oh, yeah.
On the other side of Inman Street.
Yeah.
We have projects going on over there as well. One of our newest builds will be up on High Street right now, which is over across Wildwood from us, kind of up on the hill, right behind Patton Funeral Home.
I have a house on High Street.
We'll be right up
Yeah.
there pretty soon. If you can see the surveyor's
That's
flags
where the
on
old
ground.
city dump was, I believe.
Up on the hill.
Yeah.
But
Is there sewer there where you're at? Where you're building there?
There is, yeah. And we've got a couple other possibilities of moving into over near Gott Street and 6th Street in that area over there. We have a new community garden right on the corner of Shepherd Street and 6th Street, which is down the hill from the old Vest Grocery. We have a community garden there.
I saw that the other day.
Yeah. And if you look
It's got the raised beds.
Yes. Yes. Now we have 3 gardens. We have one in the Blythe Oldfield area, right between Blythe Avenue and Chippewa, which is right over on between 13th and Chippewa in that area. That one's been there 7 or 8 years, I guess. That one's got raised beds in it, and that one, D, belongs to the neighborhood. We have neighborhood residents that go over and keep that up. Of course, we assist with that. And then we have the one in College Hill right there, which we have not had that one long. That one's getting a lot of attention this spring. And then we also have the raised beds there right there in our city park in Blythe Oldfield Park. We call those the youth gardens because the Boys and Girls Club there kind of help us keep those up. We've had a lot of fun with those gardens though.
Boy, it's really something to be able to buy a lot. Everybody goes out and looks for lots, but you can find them in these older neighborhoods that already have water and sewer and power. And
Yeah. I mean, Dee, if you drive around, I mean, the areas that I'm talking about building, there are other builders building every day over there.
oh yeah, it's not just y'all.
No,
Here is.
people want a product at $175,000, $190,000. If you look at what that buys you on the market these days, it doesn't buy you much, and that's why they'll come over to Blythe Oldfield and try to buy a renovated house or a new house. So I got in, not really in an argument, but the other day someone was asking me about our affordable housing program, and when I told them the prices of a new house, they said, "I thought you said affordable." And I said, "Well, I did. Please go look at the market. Go look and see what 175,000, 180 will buy you in Cleveland, and then come back to me and talk to me."
And all you can save is the contractor's fee.
Yep.
But what else can you save? I mean, there's no magic to it.
Right. When our builder, when he bids a project, we just don't have a lot of margin for him to miss that. And he does an excellent job keeping us right.
He has, in other words, you've got a contractor doing it, and there is some profit there for him, I guess.
Yes,
right?
there is.
You
yes.
couldn't do it, but if you did it by yourself, you would only be knocking off maybe 10 or 11 or 9%, because he's not making a lot.
Not the most. So the housing part is difficult for me because I don't know it. I'm learning it pretty well, and the housing part and the financial part go hand in hand. So just learning fundraising and grant writing and how grants work, how they're awarded, that's been a big learning curve for me as well. I was retired for just a couple months before I started doing this, but I find it rewarding and I love doing it.
Are you going to keep doing it for another 10 or 15 years?
I hope I'll do it as long as I can. I hope I'll do it. I really didn't expect to become the director. There was a need there, kind of an interim need, and I thought, well, I think I could do that. And the more I got into it, the more fascinated I was with it, and the more deeply the more deeply convicted I felt about the mission that we have there. So that's how I wound up doing this. There's people out there that are a lot more qualified, no doubt about that, a lot more qualified than I am for it. But I really do enjoy it.
Well, I believe you're qualified. You're doing it.
Well, I'm doing it. I guess so. Yeah.
I mean,
but I've learned a lot from other executive directors of nonprofits here in town. Everybody from, well, we all kind of know each other because we go to each other's events. We support each other. I have a good network of people I can pick up the phone and call, especially a board of directors that they know my limitations pretty well, because I call them and say, hey, I don't know what this means. Tell me what this means here. And once a month when we approve my financials, I have to look at them and say, I'm learning how to interpret that stuff. I'm learning what my role is in it. And they've been very supportive and patient with me so far.
Let's see, you got the Salvation Army, United Way, City Fields. Is there more?
Yeah, we
Habitat?
work with the Caring Place, which is one of our biggest partners. We also work with Bradley Prevention Bureau, with the Cleveland Emergency Shelter, like you said, United Way. We do a lot with them. We do a lot with even our Chamber of Commerce and Boys and Girls Club, all of the different nonprofits that also have their own specific niche, like working with drug and alcohol, working with justice-involved individuals, working with the homeless. There are so many nonprofits in our town that sometimes we have to just make sure that we're staying in our lane and that we're not overlapping services. But we refer people to them all the time, and they refer people to us all the time. And it's a good community to be in terms of nonprofit work.
In other words, you couldn't make it without some of the other nonprofits helping you and you helping them, right?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no way we could make it. We all know each other by name, and hey, you need to call this organization and ask for so-and-so. We do that a lot. And one thing that's very gratifying to me is the folks that come in our door, that go through our programs and then come back to us and tell us success stories. Especially from the workforce side. That's something that's really, really good when you get a guy that's trying to support a family, needs to learn a trade, comes through one of our courses. And we just do, like our welding course is a 2-week boot camp. They don't come out of there expert welders, Dee. They come out of there with a certification that says that for 2 weeks they showed up every day for this class. They learned how to become a MIG welder. They got a job, and they're starting to, put food on the table. That's extremely gratifying for us, and it doesn't happen 100% of the time.
No, I guess it doesn't, but you couldn't do what you do if you weren't on a city sewer, right? I mean, it'd be harder to do if you had to have, in other words, if you were in the county on septic.
Yeah, it's a little bit, that brings a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Let's go out and see what perks, and let's go out and get these fill lines put in and all that. Yeah.
And that's really some of the county areas probably don't have as much of a need for redevelopment, right?
Well, I haven't really given that a whole lot of thought, because I look at Blythe Oldfield. Blythe Oldfield needs so much more that even before we expanded going into College Hill, there's an argument to be made, well, we're not done here yet. Let's keep working here. We're going to work wherever the need is. But
so why the expansion to College Hill? Just an opportunity?
Well, it was an opportunity, but it was also part of our mission, is to cultivate overlooked populations. And the area in College Hill, the black community that is over there, we have felt for a long time has not had as active a voice or as well heard a voice as they deserve, in terms of city projects, in terms of tax dollars, in terms of political representation, things like that. We want to go and be a voice for them where we can.
I could argue it was worse. It's worse than Blythe, the old field was.
It could be.
I mean, you could make the argument, especially if you get back in there. It's pretty rough.
Well, one thing I've learned is it's much different types of challenges in College Hill than there are in Blythe Oldfield. It seems like in College Hill, our black churches, they join together and do a lot of the things that City Fields does. They take care of their own so well over there. We don't have as much of a presence over there with
Is that right? That's interesting.
things like DCS and children not being fed and clothed. They really, that neighborhood does a good job at taking care of their own folks. But they also have a need for some development. They've asked us to come and help them do some different programming in different churches and different community events, and we're glad to be able to do that.
You ever think, boy, I've retired and I'm working harder than I worked before I retired?
Every single day.
You ever think, what in the world did I do?
Yeah. I think that, Dee, there was always this adage about, well, if you enjoy what you're doing, you never work a day in your life. But I reject that. I think that's wrong.
That's BS.
I enjoy what I'm doing, and I come home every single day absolutely worn out. I lay there at night with my eyes open trying to figure out, did I give everything I can? Did I do? And I'm doing what I love to do, but I can tell you that it is exhausting. I think if you're doing what you love to do, then just get ready. You're going to be exhausted. That's how I feel sometimes. But I get up the next day energized and ready to go.
Yeah, if you come home and say, boy, I enjoy what I do, I'm not. It doesn't feel like work to me. I don't think you're giving it everything.
Well, one thing I can say about the last year, I don't think that you ever go through easy time. All right, you know what? If you just say to yourself, I've had a really easy year. You don't sit there and go, I had an easy time at that, and I sure did learn a lot. No, I think when you're really up against it, when you're having a hard time, I think you're growing. I think you're learning. And I think that's where the real satisfaction comes in, is when you start chipping away at it and making a difference.
Necessity is the mother of invention, right? They say.
It is. It is. It's not easy to be the new guy at anything when you're 57 years old. I'm set in my ways on a lot of stuff. I work with a very young staff. There is a generational divide there. They, when I stick my head in their office, they're like, okay, do you need us to fix your phone, or what is it on the computer you need us to help you with? And
you can fix it. Just give me a minute, right? Show me the two or three things, and I can figure it out.
Yeah, but I also I don't believe that if people say that our younger generation they don't want to work, or all they want to do is sit and watch, play video games. That's not what I see. That's not what I see every day.
I don't either.
And I also want to if somebody tells me that they think our young generation's lazy, or they don't want to do anything, I always say, well, let's give them something to respect. Mm-hmm. Hey, what are you doing to help them? Mm-hmm. Why don't? Hey, let's come alongside them. Let's give them something to respect. Let's show them. Let's demonstrate to them. I believe we have that responsibility. And the younger folks that I work with today are some of the finest young people I know that could be out on the job market in the private sector, or working for an organization making a lot of money, and they chose to come and work in a shabby old school building with me in the nonprofit world, making a difference in somebody's life, and it inspires me. Mm-hmm. It gives me a lot of confidence for the future, and I learn a lot from them every day.
Do you think that that they're going to do more redevelopment in the old Whirlpool place? Have you heard anything on that, or are you privy to that information, or more than I would be?
I'm no more privy than anyone anywhere else. I look out my office window and see it every day. it looks like the surface of Mars to me. And the only thing I hear is I think our city officials guard their words a lot with it, and there's a reason for that. They don't have to, everybody doesn't have to know everything. But the last I heard I heard a city official say we are beginning to exchange documents with the property owners, and conversations are being held. So I think that basically means y'all are on a need-to-know basis, and hopefully we'll get something going over there soon.
And the progress is probably a slow type thing that, waiting for somebody to send a document or a request, and it probably just takes forever.
Yeah, I'm learning that's true in just about everything that I do that has to do with development, that has to do with city government. That's not a critique of our city government. It's just the way it works. I came from a vastly different background. At UPS, we loaded trucks and sent them out, and they delivered packages, and they came back in at the end of the day. And if I didn't have a good day, production-wise, well, guess what? You get another shot tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Those packages come in like the tide. Yeah. At 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, you're going to get another load. You're going to do the same thing the next day.
And now you're waiting on to see if they've approved the permit and if they've surveyed the lot.
Yeah, you're either going to go through the planning commission or the board of zoning appeals. Yeah, and
then everybody wonders, why aren't you done? Something like that.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest questions that I have to answer, Dee, is when a donor or some sort of stakeholder in my organization says, well, how many are you going to build next year, David? And there are so many external variables that go into that answer. And my answer to that question could determine whether or not they are willing to donate their funds to our organization. So I have to be extremely careful because I want to promise big. And the only thing I want to do more than that is deliver big. And I have to just be very guarded with that and say, well, here's what we want to do. Here's what we're positioned to do, but there are different factors that come in. And I do the best that I can with it. We're proud of what we do. It's just, it's not easy. Not easy.
I went to, I'm getting some stone from a quarry, and they're delayed. So I just drove up there, and I got him in the car, and I took him to eat. And we're sitting there eating, and I said, how much money can I give you to speed this up? Name your price. And he just laughed. He said, it's not about the money. I've got to do this, and this, and I'm trying. So it wasn't the money.
Yeah.
He has things he has to do. He said, you're just going to have to wait. I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? It wasn't, so you just have to wait things. I've noticed when you're building, nobody ever, at the end of the job, they never say we stayed on what the budget was, or when you got finished. They never, ever mention that later. But while you're doing it, they mention those two things. But you can see them a year later and say, when did we finish that? They won't have a clue, and they won't have a clue what they had in it. So those are just talking points that really don't matter. No,
they don't. And nobody really wants to talk about weather and how that holds you up, and nobody wants to talk about...
Or it'll rain, and then what about when they say... well, it rained all week, and they didn't work Saturday, and it was pretty Saturday. Well, they've got a life, too. They've got kids in ball games and stuff like that. They go to church, too. Are they supposed to be penalized because it rained?
Yeah.
During the week, but not Saturday? I mean, we got to... If you'll respect them, they'll help you as much as they can.
Right. One thing that I've learned a lot, I've learned a lot about our local building community. People have been really supportive of what we do. I've not had a hard time getting answers to questions from people. I mean, I've enjoyed it. I've also learned that everybody's fighting the same battle as I am. Yeah, I'm trying to build houses for a nonprofit. That's a little bit different, but not a whole lot different. Everybody's still trying to find framers and roofers and concrete people.
Yeah.
I mean, that part I'm learning, and there's lots of times when I feel like, well, a lot of the success we have is due to the fact of how well run our organization was before I got here. So it's nice to talk to you today, but I'm not here to brag about a whole lot of success that is because of me. It's just we are a good nonprofit and we do good things, and that was all. I'm just standing on the shoulders of some folks that are no longer here, that built this thing years ago.
It's more like it's not what we're doing, but what we are doing, but what we have done.
Well, it could be. There's just, the growth that we're having now, Dee, is people are bringing ideas to us and saying, hey, we know you all can do this. Can we do a plumbing pre-apprenticeship? A pre-apprenticeship that's almost going to guarantee somebody a good paying job. Can you all do that? Yes. Can we look at developing a program, which we're starting April the 2nd with we're teaching courses now to foster children or foster youth who are about to age out of the foster care system. Once they get to 18, they're out of the foster care system. And a lot of times they go out without any job skills, without any life skills, without knowing how to take care of themselves, wash their own clothes, do their own meals.
So the people the kids in foster care, once they're 18, well, I had never thought about that.
Unless they go to college, then they no longer belong to the state. So we are looking at.
So they wouldn't live with somebody. How would that
just
be?
Depends on what their college situation is. And a lot of them, just because they're in foster care, there's a lot of problems there, or they wouldn't, there's those individual young people carry a lot of problems with them that they deal with different challenges than other people do. Now we have a program where I think we just announced this program. We already have 7 youth that have signed up for it. We're going to bring them in one night a week for 10 weeks, and we're going to teach them job readiness skills, how to be in a job interview, how to write a resume, some life skills like here's how you prepare your own budget, here's how you grocery shop, here's how you...
Things a parent would do.
Yeah, we're going to do that. In our workforce development field, we partner with a lot of different folks. We partner with vocational rehab, which is a group that works with young people and young adults that have developmental disabilities and help assess them and find them jobs. We work with the Caring Place as well. We work with Bradley County Justice Center, just lots of different partners that come together, and when we see a need somewhere, even if the trades come to us and say we really need welders, we really need HVAC people, that's where we tailor our training classes. And it seemed like youth that are aging out of the foster care system were just a forgotten population.
I've never thought about them aging out, but that would be a real thing, because what would they do if they don't? How would you like to be a foster child living with somebody? Wouldn't that be?
It would. I'm new to it. I don't have a lot of experience there.
I don't either.
We've had some foster kids in my family, just my extended family with my nieces and nephews that eventually became adopted.
Yeah.
But
that's what you would hope, but that wouldn't be the case on everything.
No, not by a long shot. So we began to have discussions with the folks at Voc Rehab, with the state of Tennessee, with American Job Center, with a lot of different partners, and we developed a program, a 10-week curriculum with different classes we can have. Once a week on a Tuesday night, they'll come over to City Fields. They will come to our building, and we're going to begin that class with a home-cooked meal. Just just to welcome them and say, hey, come on in and eat with us. It's a great way to break the ice. And we have different churches that have signed up that'll come and they'll prepare that meal. And it's not going to be a real big class. I mean, maybe 10 to 12 students. And we'll start teaching them these life skills, these job skills. And, you know, we build a curriculum, Dee, but to be honest with you, we have to have that to get the class started. We really don't know what it's going to look like. We've not dealt with this kind of population before. It may just end up being a safe place where they can ask an adult some questions about life and how to get started in life.
Well, that
I'm
would
not
be
real
helpful.
sure what it's
That
going to
would
look
be
like.
helpful, wouldn't it?
I think it will be. I'm looking forward to being involved in it. Gosh, Dee, we have so many different partners on this one. We've got some folks that have got foster children of their own, some folks from some state agencies, some folks from our local court system. It's just going to be a lot of folks coming together to make this happen. And we're excited about it. Brian Stewart, who's our workforce development director, told me last week, he said, and I said, well, how are you feeling about it, man? Are you ready to get going? He said, Dave, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm scared to death. I don't really know what it's going to be like. We're just going to get in and listen and find out what they need and develop the program as it goes.
It'll evolve.
I think it will. Do
you think we've got more social programs than we did 50 years ago? Are we getting more of a socialistic type community, or did we have that before and it was under different names, or maybe churches help? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my answer right away is yes, we do have more now, but the only reason I say that is because I'm closer to it now than I was before.
Maybe we had it.
One thing that's so exciting working in nonprofit, Dee, is I've developed a network of friends and coworkers in the nonprofit world that were always there. They were always there, and I never knew it because I grew up not needing those services. I had a stable family, a stable school and a church and a neighborhood, and I didn't realize at the time that I was being given that so that I might give back later. So I didn't really know that there were people out there that devoted their lives to taking care of other people, making sure other people have their needs met. And
it's almost like an underworld. You don't realize they're there, but they are helping, aren't they?
They are. I serve on the advisory board of Salvation Army here in Cleveland. I've been doing that for the past 5 years. That has changed my perspective a lot on how to deal with our problem of homelessness in Cleveland. And it is widespread, and it is a messy, multi-layered problem.
I went in there here about 2 weeks ago to that coffee shop there.
Yes.
And you know how much a coffee and a cookie, and I'm not talking a little, I'm talking a big cookie. You know how much it was? $2.
Is that right?
And it was good.
Yeah.
I thought, that coming from Starbucks, I mean, Starbucks would be $3.57 every morning,
Yeah.
and that was $2 with the coffee. Wonder what time they open.
I don't know over there.
I gave John Trenum, you know him, David Trenum, you know the Trenum?
I know who that is. Yeah.
Well, he was there, and I gave him a ride home. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
He was laughing the whole way. I don't know why. I don't know. I think he was waiting for maybe the Sethra bus or something.
Could be.
But anyway, he came in. But
serving with those folks gives me a little bit different perspective. When the weather really starts getting cold, I think about things like, well, is tonight going to be a night when we have the warming shelter open?
God, yeah. Where's the warming shelter?
We have different warming shelters at different churches that are open, and if that temperature goes below 32 degrees, then boom, they snap into action. They open their doors up, and we keep folks warm.
I know the emergency shelter is run by Harry or Demetrius.
Yes.
Do you work with him, Minnie?
Yes, he's one of our partners.
Boy,
he
isn't
and
he
Hazel
smart?
Wesley. Yeah.
God,
good
he's
folks.
so smart. I really like him.
Yeah, if anybody needs a place to go volunteer or a place to put their efforts,
That's it.
our emergency shelter needs our help. They do a fantastic job. Even things that you don't, they are the first. I call it the tip of the spear. They're one of the first places people go when they just don't have any place else to go.
And they can only house, what, 7 or 8 at a time? Maybe
Well,
10?
they have a men's side and a women's side, and there's definitely a limit to it, and there's only certain people that they can take. If you don't have an ID, then you can't stay there because they have to be able to run background checks and find out what your situation is before you go there. They're amazing people, though.
They are. I had to get, I did the cafeteria behind there, the little storage building that
yeah.
And it took me 6 months to get a permit for that.
It's all right.
And they were just, all they were doing was trying to bring area churches where they could come and feed them.
Mm-hmm.
It took forever.
Yeah.
Finally, shoot, what's that councilman's name? I can't think. He finally, I called him, and the next day it was no problem.
Probably District 2, Bill Estes.
No, it wasn't Bill. It was for him. I know him like a book. Andrew's brother. Andrew, I can't think. You don't remember him, Gwen? Andrew, I can't remember. Avery Johnson. Avery Johnson.
Yeah.
So, well, did you graduate in '84 when I did?
I did, yeah.
So we got a reunion coming up, right?
We do, yes.
Have you bought your ticket?
I have, yeah.
Did you buy a table?
I think that's exactly what I did, yeah.
Well, you know that doesn't include a ticket.
Is that right?
Yeah, you need to double check that.
I was
That's what
kind of wondering why they said you could sponsor a table. I thought, well, I don't really want to. I mean,
I thought I was just getting a ticket. I didn't know I thought the same thing. I thought, well, I've already bought my ticket. But come to find out.
Yeah, they've been having a lot of meetings about it. I think it'll be fun. I haven't been to a high school reunion and it's been a while, so.
Do you think that we look a lot different than we did?
I can assure you I do.
How much did you weigh in high school when you graduated?
I was about 180.
180. Mm-hmm. So you were pretty big then. I mean, 180 is pretty good size.
Yeah.
How tall are you?
5'11". I would love to say 6. I'm not that far away.
I'd love to say 5'11".
No, it doesn't seem like 40 years at all to me, Dee.
Whoever's doing that reunion, they sure are working hard on it. We had one last time, and it did. But whoever's doing it now is really working hard.
They are.
Yeah. I guess it's Stephanie Sparkman.
Yeah, it's her, and it's Kelly Bowen-Scoggins. It's Tracy Blackburn.
Have you ever noticed you can't really remember who you graduated? If they graduated a year before you or a year after, you really don't know if it was the year you graduated. You know, it's almost like the same class. You ever thought about that?
Yeah, we were all kind of there together, and I went to Cleveland my freshman and sophomore year, then transferred to Bradley my junior and senior year.
I did the same thing.
So I kind of claim everybody as a classmate.
Me too.
You know, when you asked me about that a minute ago, I was sitting here going, I think Dee graduated from Cleveland in '84.
No, I went to Cleveland in 7th, 8th, and 9th, and went to Bradley in 10th, 11th, and 12th.
That's kind of what I did. I think we talked about this before, yeah.
Did y'all move?
No, I was at Cleveland High. I was trying to play football, and I just wasn't, I hadn't gotten big enough, or I hadn't gotten fast enough, or they were good, you know, and I couldn't make the team, and I thought, I just want to play football. So I transferred to Bradley, and they were not good in football then at all. In fact, I remember the coaches standing in the cafeteria on the first day of school and just asking you when you went by, you know, they'd look at you and kind of size you up.
I liked Bradley better, didn't you? As far as the school.
I did too. I did. I didn't have anything against Cleveland High School.
I felt like I learned more at Bradley.
I just enjoyed Bradley a lot.
Did you have FFA?
I did not, no.
I did. I had with Herbert Lackey. I'm trying to get a hold of him, and I don't know anybody that knows him. You didn't know him, did you, Herbert Lackey?
I knew LeBron. Was that his son?
No, I don't think so. He was head of FFA.
I remember him. Yeah.
But I can't get a hold of him. I'd sure like to see him.
Yeah, I had fun at Bradley. I liked it. Things were pretty simple then.
What else is going on? You called me this week. Did you need something specifically?
Yeah, I was going to call and ask you about our fundraiser. See if you wanted to participate in that.
See if it's that's part of your job, isn't it?
It really is.
How much you need? Like just a donation or something?
Yeah, we have donation levels for you can buy a table or just make a donation.
Oh, is that for your yearly thing?
Well, yeah, it's our second one.
I went to the last one, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I remember seeing you there.
Yeah.
That was where your name came up.
Well, I'll do the same thing, whatever
All right.
I did.
Well, that'd be nice. I'll talk to you about that. We've got April 13th at the Pie Center. We have a 10-year anniversary fundraiser. It's going to be a lot of fun. So.
I sat with Demetrius.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, tell him I'll buy another table if he'll sit with me.
Okay, I don't think I've talked to him yet. But we've got Brian Jordan from the Atlanta Braves and Atlanta Falcons is coming in to be our guest speaker. Brian has his own foundation also. He has a youth foundation.
Where's he from originally?
He is an Atlanta guy. Just Atlanta, born and raised, and then, made the All-Stars with the Braves and then went over and played defensive back for the Falcons and made All-Star there also.
Who is that athlete that moved to Loudon here recently? Have you heard about that?
No.
There's some big athlete that married somebody from Loudon and he moved over there. I can't think of who it is. I thought that might have
Probably
been
lives up in Tellico Village.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
Well, not a whole lot. I'm enjoying working with City Fields. I'm enjoying being retired from UPS. I got remarried. I did that.
I knew that.
Yeah. And I'm married a girl.
Why would you get me married?
Why would I do? Some people have asked me that. I wasn't expecting that at all. Wasn't expecting that at all. But
you were the most available bachelor there for a while. There for a few weeks.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that either.
Comes down to availability at our age.
I was not going to be I did not set out to get married, but looking back on it, I don't think I would have made a very good bachelor at all.
Being lonely is a big thing. It's worse than people that don't. It's a bad thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I for a time I just decided I was going to withdraw and I was going to live out in the country and just live in a little old house out there and just stay to myself and me and my dogs, and that's what I was going to do. Mm-hmm. I was taking steps towards doing that, but I knew that eventually life would call and I would answer, and I'm glad I did.
Your daughter, wasn't she getting her law degree?
Yeah, she just finished taking the bar last week.
Did she pass, I guess?
Don't know yet.
Oh, they don't tell you?
No.
Why would it take long to tell you that?
Oh, it seems like it takes 6 to 8 weeks.
Golly.
My daughter Lainey is a...
and they know the answer.
Yeah, she graduated from University of Memphis School of Law, and she lives in Memphis, and she's doing really well. I'm really proud of her.
Wasn't she thinking about coming back here? I can't remember.
At one time she wanted to.
Yeah.
She the type of law that she practices, she works for a medical legal partnership that strives to help young people with disabilities find gainful employment and make sure that they have the entitlements coming to them under the law that they deserve to help them have a full life. I'm really proud of that.
I bet they don't grade those on the curb.
I don't think they do. She said she felt pretty good about it.
I went and when I got my contractor's license, at that time, they didn't have books to study. So I just went to the library and opened up books on concrete, plumbing, and I just read books at the library for like a month.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was going to help or not, but I went and I checked the wrong box. I checked commercial instead of residential. So it was tough. They had 9 hours to take it, and it took me 9 hours. And one of the questions on there, well, when I was reading in the library, it said potable water is drinking water. And I thought, well, I've never heard of that. It doesn't even make sense. Potable makes it sound like a porta toilet. That struck me as odd. But anyway, when I went and took this test, 9 hours, one of the questions on there, one of the questions was drinking water is A, B, C, D, and one of them was potable water. And I thought, what are the odds that I would have read that? And so I checked it. Anyway, so I had to wait like a week to get the results. So I got a letter in the mail and said, you passed, made a 70. So I called down there and I said, hey, did I make a 68 and you rounded it up? And they said, nope. And I said, what did you have to pass? He said, a 70. And I said, so you're telling me I made exactly the lowest score I could make? And he said, yep. And if it wasn't for that studying in the library, reading, just trying.
Potable water.
What are the odds of that?
Yeah. I remember studying in the old library that's now the Craig Miles House in the history branch, going in there and going to that card catalog and looking up stuff and going,
Dewey Decimal System?
I remember that. Remember having to go find a book, you know.
Do you remember they'd have storytelling in the mornings, mid-mornings?
I don't remember that.
I went to that, so they had a lady that would read the book. I wonder who's in that library now. Is it the archives? What does that mean?
Well, it's a great place to go visit, Dee, in your spare time, which I know you don't have a lot of. You ought to go by there because I do that every once in a while, and you can go. It's the history branch of the Bradley Cleveland Library, and they're the most helpful people in the world.
Can you sit there and use your phone, or is that discouraged?
Well, I tell you one thing that's really interesting to do. If you go in the history branch down there, which is when you walk in the library, you go straight back to the back room, and you can look up everything from marriage licenses to death records to, they have every high school yearbook.
Is that right?
From Bradley High School and Cleveland High School, Cleveland State, Lee University, from all the way back, way past when me and you were in school.
Is that right?
Yeah, you can just sit there and look at them if you're trying to find somebody or anything that you are looking for with our city or county. You can ask the librarian there, and she will help you.
Do you have a place where you hide out if you need to?
You know,
every
once in a while I do.
Like a coffee shop or something, or
you know, one thing about my job now, I can do it from anywhere, and sometimes I do. I take my earphones and just go post up somewhere and decide I'm going to work from there. I do that from time to time, but
I do that. That really helps sometimes, doesn't it?
It does.
You ever go to Grit and Grace? They got that little coffee. That's a pretty good place.
That is nice. I like that one. And just for relaxation, my wife and I play pickleball. We like that. I've started doing that. And
I never could figure out the attraction to that.
Once I started hitting it, we have a ton of fun doing it. We do a lot more. We've been a little bit lazy since it's been wintertime. We're ready to get back out there.
Well, don't they do it on the tennis court?
Sort of. Yeah. Mostly indoor, like on volleyball courts and stuff like that at the Y. They'll set up 3 or 4 pickleball courts in there. And
you get tired, or is it sort of an easy?
At first I thought it would be, but it's pretty active. It's a lot more active than you might think. I have a lot of fun doing it.
I know a lot of people do it.
Oh my gosh, Dee, it's crazy.
Like the new craze, isn't it?
It really is. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, they get hot in the kitchen or something like that, they call it. The kitchen's hot or something like that.
Well, you got to stay out of it. There's a little, just right up near the net. You can't be in that little area. That's called the kitchen unless if the ball bounces in that area, you can get in there. But as soon as you hit it, you got to get out of it.
Well, who's to say you stayed there too long?
Oh, they'll watch. Your opponent watches you, and
you got 4 seconds or 2 seconds to get out.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
This is what I understand.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about pickleball, Dee, is I'll get in trouble for saying this, but it is what it is. The older the folks are, the more competitive and militant they
Oh,
are
yeah.
about those rules. Because if you're just somewhere, if you're over at community center and you're rotating in a game
Yeah.
and you don't know the fella, and
That it's no big deal.
yeah, you're sitting there thinking, well, this guy's 75 years old, I'm gonna be fine. And then, you know, if you miss a shot back in the backcourt, he'll go, hey man, that was you. Yeah, it was you. That was on you. And I'll go, I'm sorry, man.
Don't want to fight here.
I know. But I have moved to downtown Cleveland and really enjoy it.
Did you sell your place?
Yeah, sure did.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I ride by there on my bicycle. I keep thinking you're there, but you're not there anymore.
No,
So I'm not.
Sold that back in October, early November.
Well, you got hit the market right, didn't you?
I hope so. I mean, it was the right thing at the right time, and enjoyed living not far from here at all. So,
Yeah, you're just a few minutes.
yeah,
You ever eat at Gardner's much?
I do. Yeah, I do lunch there about probably once a month, and just go in there, and that's a good place.
I tell you a good place to go. Being down at, if you can go by, you ever go down to Calfee's on 64 Highway?
Yes, a lot.
They got good food there, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
You ever get their bologna sandwiches?
No,
Boy,
no.
you got to try it. I'm telling
I
you.
like their BLT. I like their biscuits and gravy and all that, you know.
Well, they're quick too, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. Those are good people.
By the time your gas finishes pumping, they've already handed you a biscuit.
That's right. And it's just, anything goes on that biscuit. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
when I'm sitting there waiting to pay, those old guys will come in there, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody's
Yeah.
wearing Carhartt and green
Yeah.
vests, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And they're either plumbers or roofers or something, and they'll come in there and they'll say, I'll have a bacon and tomato biscuit, or
But you know
the
the tomatoes are fresh because they get them right out of that box right
Oh,
there.
they're beautiful tomatoes.
I was
Yeah.
driving down Inman Street Thursday, and I saw Ronnie Pearson standing out in front of his place. And I pulled in there and I said, hey, have you had a bologna sandwich yet? And he said, no. And I said, jump in. And we went down there and ate lunch
Yeah.
and sat at that little table they got.
Sit out front, yeah.
No, we sat inside. They got a little table inside.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, on the side.
Oh, okay.
You have to look at them, though, so it's kind of odd, but
Yeah.
you ought
Bologna
to try
sandwich.
bologna sandwich.
You know, they also have that soft serve ice cream in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Don't forget about
I
that.
hadn't tried that, but they got fountain drinks, and it's that thick bologna.
Yeah, so I last time I went in there and got a BLT, I just said, I'll have a bacon, lettuce, and tomato. And she goes, you want it toasted? And I said, no, thank you. She said, you want me to cut it side to side or wall to wall?
Well, does it matter, right?
Yeah.
What'd you tell her?
Well, I thought wall to wall sounded pretty good just because it was a cool thing to say. And I said, oh, wall to wall. I acted like it
Acting
really
like
mattered.
you knew what you... Well, they asked me that the other day if I wanted it toasted, and I said, yeah, but I found out don't do that because they don't put the lettuce and tomato on it then. Because if you get it fried, they don't do that.
Oh, you
So I
got
just got a bologna sandwich, you know.
got to build your own.
You gotta have something on it besides mustard.
Well, it really sounds good right now.
It really
now that
does.
you mentioned that.
They get it somewhere else though, because it's not like you can go to Publix and get it. It just don't taste the same. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is. It's something different.
Yeah, that place is. I used to go there a lot when I was a younger guy and I worked at UPS early in the mornings because the old man, Mr. Willard Calfee, was
Yeah,
there.
Willard.
They started breakfast at three
Oh,
or
yeah.
4 in the morning, and I could go in there and eat something on the way to Chattanooga. I remember
Some
that.
people swear by their coffee. I don't much care for it, but some people just
Their
gotta,
coffee?
they gotta have it. But I just don't particularly like it for some reason.
They make nice, good sweet tea if you like that. It's one of those things I probably have to cut back on, but I've enjoyed that place for a long time.
So what else is going on? Anything?
No, that's about all I've got going on. I'm learning how to be a married guy again. That's going well. I'm trying just to go through a whole year without making any big changes in my life. That's all I do these days is big changes,
Yeah, you need to just enjoy this this time in your life and not try to get, you've done enough to help out. Enjoy this, do what you can, and just let it happen.
Yeah. Well, my wife Carmen and I have 6 grandchildren, so that keeps us really busy.
Golly, 6 grandchildren.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. That's really nice and a lot of fun. And she and I are just enjoying being together, enjoying being a part of Cleveland. Cleveland's a great place to be the age we are.
Boy, it is.
There's a lot of good things happening around here. I'm got involved with some city projects. This Inman Street project I'm involved in. This big connector project that's going to build this new bridge going from 3rd Street over. I'm involved in that, and just wrote a grant with the black community over in College Hill to do things. So
Is that bridge going to go all the way across to 3rd Street?
it is, yeah.
Well, I just can't envision that, but that's what.
What you said is true. It's hard to envision that.
Is it
It's
going
such a big
from?
project.
Is it going from the old Rot House? It's going from the 3rd Street before you get to the railroad track, all the way to 3rd Street. You can see it's pretty well a straight line.
It is.
So that's going to be a bridge over that.
It will be.
Golly.
Is somebody living in that rot house?
I think so. They need to take that and make it a museum and fix that place up. If you want to do something for Cleveland and Bradley County, that's what needs to happen, because that guy really, his story needs to be told.
Yeah. He was the copper mining guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. See, on episode number 80, I had an actor come in here. He read the book, and
He was Julius Rott.
he played Rot, and I had Rot on the discussion. And he tried to portray him as much as he possibly could.
Have you ever been in that house? I've always
Never
wanted
been.
to. It was for sale for a long time. I don't know who
Well,
bought it.
supposedly there's a tunnel from his house under the railroad to the depot.
Well, I'd heard that rumor.
Well, I asked him, and he said that would be convenient, because he was quiet on that. He was a Union sympathizer.
Julius Rott was?
Yeah. He made the cannonballs and sold them to the Confederates, so they thought he was. Anyway, but some claim that he was part of the Underground Railroad to get.
Interesting.
And so I asked him that, and he said he'd rather not comment because he never did comment on it. But wouldn't that make the most sense?
It would. That would connect a few dots,
It would connect a few dots for sure.
I'm excited about the renovation.
He's the one that
of
brought the depot here.
the railroad.
Yeah, the railroad. He's the one that got the railroad here.
I'm excited about the renovation of Cherokee Hotel, too. It's going to be nice. Went inside that the other day. Sounded kind of on a...
I just wonder if they keep doing all of this online stuff, why do you need to go downtown? I mean, they want you to come downtown, but if you go, they say, well, you'll have to do that online.
You're talking about at places like
Everywhere.
going in to pay your taxes
Everywhere.
and stuff like that. When I go...
They don't encourage you to be there when you're there. They encourage you to
They send you
drive
away.
through.
Well, if I can go and pay my taxes on Keith Street for the county and City Hall for the city. And it's one of the few checks I ever write, because if you pay with a card, then they put a service fee on it. It's not the city that does it, but it's...
I don't think they do it on Visa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can do Visa and they don't charge you. And you can get a few points.
I see. Well, that's going to be an exciting project. It will be.
Oh, yeah. When will it be done? Can you say that, or 2026?
26 in the summer. The main, I was at a question and answer thing about that the other day down at Main Street, Cleveland, and one of the main questions was, well, I know that we're going to be doing a lot with the hotel, but where are we going to park? You know,
Bank of Cleveland.
and I thought that was kind of a
Next
good
to the
question.
Cooks, I think. I think they secured that parking.
There's just I love seeing the revitalization that's happening downtown. It's really nice. I think I don't know of many places where it's harder to run a business than downtown. But you know, the other night we had some live music over at the old woolen mill. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine named Rusty Wink put on a great one-man show down there, and just rented a room and told everybody to come. And I think Rusty would have been happy to have 75 to 100 people, and we had almost 200. And that really told us that we need to start having more live music downtown.
That's the only thing that'll bring them in.
So we did it again last Thursday. Mm-hmm. We rented Indigo Cafe, which is down next to Mash and Hops.
Mm-hmm. I did that.
Were you there that night?
I did. I built it when it was for 5-0.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Mm-hmm. And we filled that place up, had a bluegrass band play, and that was a lot of fun. So Art is Here is the new art partnership that's downtown, located in the Woolen Mill. They're the ones that are putting on Mary Poppins at Dixon Center next week. I'll be at that. And there's a new venue inside Art is Here partnership.
The only way to get people downtown is through entertainment.
Well, I think so. I'm excited that there are some people interested in art, and it's the thing that keeps us alive. We have to have music and drama and paintings, and we have to have these things it gives meaning and color to our life where we have to have it.
We got to have it.
Yeah, but I'm excited about some things going on that way.
Well, if anybody wants to help with City Fields, tell them what they need to do.
The best way to do it is just go through our social media. Is just go through either our Facebook site or our Instagram site or our website. Our website is cityfieldscdc.com. CDC stands for Community Development Corporation. That'll teach you everything you need to know about us, and it's a great way to get involved. It is. I love being a part of this organization, and just stay tuned for some exciting things.
David, you're doing great things.
Thank you, Dee. Appreciate it very much.